The Group 2 final to commence, a place in the semi-finals ahead of them. Let's find out who will march on through. Please welcome into the arena two-time ranking event champion. It's the Milkman, Robert Milkins. And his opponent is four-time ranking event champion. Let's hear it for the Hawk, Barry Hawk.
Braccelli could beat anybody this week. He was absolutely superb. Centuries in the first and last frames. Did very, very little wrong. But Robert Milkins, okay, it was more of a battling win for him against Mark Williams, but we know that he's capable of producing brilliant snooker himself. So this will be an interesting match, I think. Significant. I think Milkins needs to get off to a good start because he knows he'll have watched how well. They have actually played already this season at the British Open. Hawkins won there 4-1. He leads the head-to-head 6-3.
The first frame, Barry Hawkins to break.
Well, that victory over Bracel is only the second match he's ever won in the Champion of Champions. And the last was back in 2014, although this is his first appearance here for 5 years. Milkins making his second in a row, but was beaten in round one last year by O'Sullivan.
I suppose the problem that Barry's got is he's got to follow that performance up. You back it up later in the same day. And the game's never been so easy that it's automatic that he will play anywhere near that level. Just don't know.
Yes, and I think that's why he himself sort of played down what happened earlier on. He didn't come in sort of buzzing, you know, talking about his best ever performance, because he's got another job to do this evening. And as he said himself, stand certainly at the top of the game, any of the players here could produce that sort of display. Milkins has struggled in ranking events this season, but actually he did get to the quarterfinals in Shanghai, a big money invitation event, which obviously was top players. He beat Sean Murphy in that. So maybe in this environment, he might just come to life.
Well, I don't think he expected that. He was always going towards the black, but the red was the side cushion, but for those two little nicks off the other two reds.
One.
Well, there's a yellow pot, although it would be an extremely acute angle from there. Yeah, I think the red's in the way anyway.
Foul. Robert Milkins 1. Barry Hawkins 4.
If the red was in the way of the yellow, the red must pass the yellow. So he's been gifted this chance, Barry. Be interesting to see how he does play. I mean, he could easily play well again. He's clearly very confident. He's had a very good season. He looks match sharp. All of the things perhaps other players are not necessarily, who haven't been winning. But luck plays a part, and both players have given away points when they've been in. The in-off and now this. You can't really foresee this red being potted there.
1.
Very interesting that Barry Hawkins said that Rob Milkins is one of his favourite players to watch. A few people have said that about
6.
This man at the table. I mean, he does sort of...
7.
He's a very busy player. He's quick. He doesn't hit balls very hard, you know. He strokes them in, and despite the fact that he's not a young player, he's seemingly still improving, I guess. Or he's certainly playing his best snooker the last couple of years.
$12.
No, I mean, his career trajectory's been very interesting. He had a lot of potential, certainly when he started out. I think a lot of people thought he would sort of hit the heights. He had his moments, but it didn't quite happen. It looked like it wouldn't happen. Gibraltar, back in 2022, when from, well, the real doldrums in the rankings, he won that event. And then, of course, the Welsh Open last season, plus the bonus prize, 150,000. Extraordinary.
$21. Rob Milkins 21.
I said he doesn't hit them very hard. He overhit that one. Maybe he lost his accuracy as a consequence. I mean, the ball's absolutely flown everywhere. The red gone over the top of the brown could make things a little awkward further down the line in this frame. It's an odd beginning to a match, this. It looks to me as if the brown Unless you can play the double kiss, looks out of bounds. I suppose if you can win the frame before those two balls come into play, all well and good. But I'm not sure Barry Hawkins will be able to. So it just kind of becomes a bit of a tricky old frame. I don't know, what did he say, re-rack or something there? It might be something further down the line that causes a bit of a stalemate. Those two balls up in the top right corner. Scruffy old frame, this first one, not like their previous matches. Chance to play the double. And you'll have checked to see that the red doesn't pot past the pink to the right middle. So if you played the double, he wouldn't leave it, that red.
Barry
Might
Hawkins,
be in
6.
some kind of a snooker or tricky situation, though. I'm sure you can get the snooker on all of the reds. You have to be very tight behind this. Yeah, the red on the left he couldn't do anything about. Has he left the red to the middle? Thinnest of snicks. There's your answer. He can't get through to it. Strange old situation, this, isn't it? I mean, what he's playing to reach a red, but it looks like he'll leave Milkins a pot of some description, even if he does get this shot half right. In the red, to the left corner by the pink. Can he even pop the one he's closest to? I suppose all these frames count, don't they? In the same way he might get a century break in frame one, as we saw with Hawkins earlier.
1.
Yeah, I mean, Luca Brissell had one shot in that frame. Took on a long red, that was it. This is a very different start.
That's a very nice shot, that really is. It was a thin contact
6.
pot. The table is like lightning, and he kept it all under control.
Seven.
I'm afraid that one is not so good. Meant to just get past the pink. He played on the black. Now it will be Milkins' turn to play a double. Hawkins failed at his
13.
attempt earlier.
Robert Milkins, 13.
It's kind of helped matters a tiny bit. I think if a red was potted, the brown now could also be taken. Whereas it couldn't go before. There was no way of potting it with red where it was. Goodness, it was dangerous playing it like that. He didn't know he'd get the snooker on the red.
Touching ball.
Just play away because he's got touching ball. He hasn't got to hit another red. Deemed to have already hit one. An unconventional frame, isn't it, this first one of the evening?
Well, I think there'll be a bit of mileage in this frame yet. The green's gone towards those reds by the brown as well.
Foul. No
Well, he
mess.
sort of got up
Barry
and started
Hawkins.
walking away from the shot before it even reached the red. I thought he must have played it well and he was pleased with it.
So, cue ball replaced by referee Deshislava Moshalova. Milkins is a fascinating character to watch in the arena. He's always had this sort of great presence.
It was slightly in the middle.
And of course, when he's playing well, the speed that he plays
Maybe left or right.
just looks sensational. But this is a very different frame, more tactical. Just sort of discussing where the white was. Neither of these two came into this match hoping the frame would go like this, but of course now it has. It's a test of patience and discipline, and a good frame to win as well, particularly for Hawkins, who's been behind most of the time.
Oh, that's pretty good. There might be a route through to the top red. Not sure how this is all going to be resolved, to be honest. I mean, that pocket is completely locked out. I think there's a few mutterings in and around the arena that it might be a re-rack here, but clearly Milkins doesn't want that. 26 points is not something you just want to throw away. See, a referee can get involved. It's not quite at that stage yet, I don't think. I mean, obviously, if you do rack the balls up, the scores don't count that are on the board right now. You start from absolutely square one again.
I think what Hawkins needs to guard against is giving away any foul points, because at the moment Milkins would need one of the two safe reds, but a foul and 2 reds, 2 blacks, it'd be enough. Well, you won't be potting that one. Barry Hawkins has doubled it.
Well, he'd love to be able to pot this brown ball. I think that could just change the whole course of how the frame is going. Double into the corner pocket. Can he pot this? He's going to try. And of course, the referee, Desislava, is standing over the pocket because she needs to be able to see very close up. I mean, in your local league years ago, you just hit that 1,000 miles an hour, so no one knew what got hit first. Not sure you get away with it here.
No, not with all our replay machines and slow-mos.
Well, he's decided against it, which doesn't really solve anything. It wasn't quite right. I mean, he could have probably potted the brown, but he had no idea where anything was going to finish. So, Milkins very much with the advantage, but the problem hasn't ever really gone away. If you can get onto the brown, then maybe you can win the frame here. Anything else won't do it.
1. Brown ball.
There's Desi. I mean, the directive is to stand behind the shot, but clearly in this instance she has to be on the scene. She's definitely that.
Foul. Robert Milkins 1. Barry Hawkins 4.
For all that.
Well, it was thin, but 22 behind as he goes back to his seat. May not expect to be getting out of it again.
I don't know if Luca is on his way back to Belgium in the car tonight, but if he doesn't really want to watch this frame because there's been more mistakes in this frame by a mile than there was in this entire match.
1.
But it's still got to be won, this frame, and pink to red is the way that it's going to be won. Just wants one more pot.
7. 8.
Well, it takes all sorts. It's not always going to be centuries, of course. Ice break in this frame so far, 21. So 2 snookers required as it stands.
10.
Yes, and he'll
Rock
carry
Milkins,
on.
10.
He has to. I mean, he might pot yellow, green and brown and try and get one 5-point penalty foul on the blue. That might be his route. Currently it's 2 snookers, but on the blue, pink and black, 1. So, could be what he tries. Deciding that he would try and get both snookers. I think of players who would have taken it down to the high value colours there to try and get one. Anyhow. I think there's room round the back of this to possibly skip past it if he's not careful. He's played it slowly anyway. It helps matters. Still has gone round it though, as we
Barry
said.
Hawkins, 4.
Now, one more snooker. It's the frame that sort of almost refuses to end. It's only been going 26 odd minutes, but it's been an oddity of a frame.
Two.
Well, and it's not quite right, but surely you can push the green up towards the blue and get one on the brown still. Yeah, that's what he's tried. I mean, it may not look a difficult snooker, but you can comfortably go past these. Sometimes like a 1 cushion escape is more difficult than 2 or 3 cushions. He might try and go off 2. Yeah. Awkward. Going with left-hand side. Difficult shot to get right. Oh!
Go.
It's on its way to hitting the green, but the blue was in the way, so all of a sudden, frame's live again.
Yes, and it didn't take Hawkins long, did it, to get these penalty points? 21 in it now, with 25 on. Well, he got a pretty good cue ball, but it is potable, this green.
Seven.
Good brown as well, but it's not getting any easier. But he looked certain to lose this frame just a few minutes ago.
Well.
The bad news for Milkins is that the pink comfortably goes past the black. Certainly a good frame to win for Barry Hawkins, but a pretty horrible frame to lose if you're Rob Milkins. 2 snookers, it's going to hurt.
So he started against Luca Brissell with a total clearance. He started tonight by stealing this frame, having needed 2. It was a 32-minute epic. It's gone to the Hawk, who leads 1-0. Hello's Mr. Blue Sky between frames, maybe not quite matching Robert Milkins' mood as he was sitting waiting for the balls to be set up, because that frame was a long one and he looked like he was going to win it, and Barry Hawkins laid 2 snookers and stole it. So the Milkman's got to pick himself up for frame 2. Good clearance, though, from Hawkins, starting with the green. You know, there were missable pots there, but that was a reminder of how well he has played so far today here in Bolton.
Barry Hawkins, 1.
It's bad enough to lose any frame where your opponent needs 2 snookers, but the first frame of a match is putting you certainly on the wrong foot. Very defensive mode it would send you, perhaps.
1. Three. 4.
This time, wrong side of the blue, so green away from his spot. He could run the cue ball across the green spot and around, or he could go between Brown and yellow. Yep, that's what he's done. If you could get an angle on the blue, maybe you could go into the pink and black and bring
Nine.
those into play, because they're obviously no help to him where they are.
Barry Hawkins,
Well, it
9.
seems he was sort of thinking so much about the angle he was going to leave himself on the blue, he just slightly took his eye off the pot here. You could see him working out how he wanted them to split. Oh, but, well, it seems to be a hangover from the first frame, that.
He's playing a lot of shots almost on the walk, isn't he? Back to his chair. He's quickly away from it and given up on it. He's part way back to his chair. The body language is not great for Milkins right now.
One.
It's not everything, but in this game, it's something we do go on when we're watching some of these matches. Just a player that doesn't look very comfortable sitting in the chair, going through the agonies a little bit. This game can throw up.
Three.
Well, he
Four.
certainly got hold of that one. Again, he was looking for that angle on the blue, and it's a very wide angle now. But he probably would like to be able to pop this and screw into the pink, bring high value colours and reds into play. Just not the perfect way of doing it from there. The pot, of course, could be missed. Trying too much sometimes.
Barry Hawkins, 4.
I think Milkins has dropped his chalk or something, looking around on the floor. Well, maybe not, because it's in his hand now. Bit of a test for him at the moment. Having lost that lengthy opening frame and missed a couple already in this one.
Well, we've played it really well, because when you see two bulk colours close together, you always feel there's a good area to get your safety shots in that kind of zone. Playing those sort of shots well, all those little tip-tap shots into the bunch. Seem pretty open and free-flowing snooker all day, but this frame and a half has not been like that.
One.
It seems certainly aware of it. It was an odd plant, really. It was 2 balls onto the edge of another one. So it was kind of well worked.
Four. Five.
So
11.
pink on the black spot, starting to look a little bit more conventional now, this frame.
Yeah, I'm
12.
sure he must have played the cannon there on that red out on the left, because that would have been perfect for the be on the black to the middle. It's quite a surprising missed cannon there. Recovered it pretty well.
15. Barry Hawkins, 15.
Well, it's still relatively early, but there you can see they're both at just 75% on the pot of success, which you wouldn't expect for 2 players who already won a match today here.
There was an example, though, of the ball's not running. And yes, it was a surprising miss, but it went unpunished. You know, the ball's just landed safely again. is certainly a half chance. It's a shame for Rob that pink doesn't pot into the left corner. The red's in the way, because it'd be a natural play on the pink. So he's looking at which red he can take, but with the colour close at hand. So he's playing slightly the more difficult red of the two.
One.
That's annoying. That's annoying. Just when he was trying to pot a good ball and get started, he's still not on anything high value.
Yellow ball. Rob Hawkins, 1.
Well, he's got everything into play, but it's not the best cue ball. He caught them a bit thick. Milkins just going through the mill a little bit here, especially if Hawkins can knock this in. He's already 28 in front.
One.
Yeah, so he'll be concerned now for sure. You can see he's having a slight mutter to himself.
Well, that's the nature of snooker. You go out and there's people have paid money to watch a good evening of snooker, and of course it may end up an absolutely brilliant game, but it's not been much at the moment. Bit of a damp squib, and it's the next best thing to that is to just win the match.
8.
Right now it's an odd start, but Hawkins, having won that first frame, he will take a lot more from the evening so far. Could be he's about to take the first 2 frames.
9.
Well, with the lead he's got, he doesn't need the awkward reds on the left-hand side. These 2 will do.
14. 15.
So, of course, when you pop this,
21.
the remaining goes down by 8 points. So, frame ball coming.
Point 2. $28. $31.
Obviously, it helped massively that he won the first frame, but in general, he's less bothered about the
32.
fact he's not playing as well as earlier. Milkins clearly he's concerned about his own game, and he's just struggling now to make an impact on this match, having had that first frame stolen from him.
$35. 37. $40.
Well, are we 51 minutes in by now? He virtually won the match against Brissell. But it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves and get on with it,
44.
if you have any sleeves.
Yeah, good point. I do think that you can play yourself into a bit of form, though. You know, you can't just come out and knock everything in like he did earlier. That was
49.
not how it usually works. So here he's had to go through a few awkward frames. Ball's running not very well, and now he's
55.
looking fine again.
Yeah, he's
And
just
the
toughed his
French
way
guy
through. That's an easily the highest break of the night, that 55. Barry Hawkins very much on top here. Milkins struggling. It's 2-0. And it's
Fred,
Hawkins 2-0 up
Barry
here. Best of
Hawkins,
11 for a place in the semi-finals. He stole the first, having needed 2 snookers, dominated the second, made 55 in the end. Milkins' highest break so far, just 21. Well, Milkins sort of opened the shoulders there, had a full-blooded attempt at that red, but it wasn't easy by any means. It didn't go in. Just trying to make something happen. Whereas Hawkins, you kind of know he's going to stay cool and calm. That's his way. He was like that after he beat Brissell in the interview. You know, he had every right to get carried away. He didn't. Played it all down.
That's a very nice safety shot there for Milkins. It's probably his best. Just the thin contact that he required, sending the cue ball into a very safe area. And sometimes if you can't get any inspiration from pots, you know, a good safety shot which could create something just might bring him to life. Seemed to just leap up into the air as if either the ball had rolled off or he totally mishit it. Clearly that was not part of the plan. It seemed to be up off the shot very quickly, as if something had gone horribly wrong. Which it had.
One.
So, this is Milkins' probably best scoring chance of the whole evening, actually, because the balls are awkward. First frame, didn't get in the second. Let's see how many he makes here. It will tell us a lot, I think, about how he's feeling.
Six. 7.
I think the area where he pointed the cue there, he could put the cue ball somewhere there and beyond that black to the right corner and maybe get the other red into play next to it, but he's got to find that area from his next red. I don't think he's got an ideal angle on this red to finish there.
12.
Well, naturally the cue ball with a stun shot is coming towards the black and the red. Might be able to avoid it with topspin. Well, he's played well to finish there.
30.
Very close up to the black ball. So I think that's okay.
$20. $21.
Better shot than it looked as well. Queuing over a ball has to take advantage of this opportunity.
$28. $29. $36.
I think the 5 reds in the bunch, the 2 on the right, he's looking to see if they are in line for a plant.
$37. $44. $45. First Milkins, 45.
Oh, he's just holding, isn't he? Trying to roll it in, hold. Naturally, the cue ball is coming away from the reds at normal speed. And if you're going to miss these, you're going to hit too much of the black very often. Because in the back of the mind, you are trying to hold, not let the cue ball release to bulk. Now the plant, bad news, Rob Milkins is, the plant is on, it always was.
1.
So he's only trying to pot the black, really. I mean, even if he goes up the table, the plant was still there. It's not as if his concentration was divided particularly. Position was almost assured. Even if he pots one here, it's safe to say the balls have not been
8.
breaking as well tonight as they were for his first match, and in both of the first 2 matches, actually. It's not going well. This is tricky. Just.
9.
Well, 5 out of 5 for Hawkins from distance. This is a serious chance now, all the reds in play, to land yet another blow on Milkins.
$50.
Just watching Milkins
16.
in the chair, it's absolute agony for him there. It's like he can't watch and he can't not watch.
$23. $24.
Well, we've had a few sort of false dawns, but really this is an absolutely gilt-edged opportunity this time.
$31. $32.
So Barry Hawkins was out of the top 16 at the end of last season, didn't make it to the Crucible,
38.
but he's looking to reach his third semi-final of this season, having of course won a tournament. Also got to the semis in Belfast at the Northern Ireland Open. And has won a lot of
39.
other matches as well. Just last week in China, he got to the quarterfinals of the International Championship.
$45.
Well, that's not absolutely
46.
ideal. Yes, he can soft screw this to the middle and land behind the red, but it's a delicate little shot. It would be, you'd think, a frame winner, but he could lose a frame, or he would lose a frame, I think. He missed the pot here. Soft screw. Stayed down on it. He wasn't sure, but in it goes.
52. $53.
So Barry Hawkins firmly in control of this match. If he can just put this frame away now, seems likely.
$58. $61.
It was Miss Black from Milkins that let him in. And it's cost him, it would seem, this frame. Brown is frame ball.
65.
Yeah, good clearance this from Hawkins. He got the reds into play very early on and has controlled things really well, as he did for so much of the afternoon against Brissell.
70.
And as you say, the black that was missed, he was trying to hold for the red, and that's the last shot Rob Milkins has played in this frame.
76.
Well, frame 4 is a big one for him. He's got to win it, you feel, just for his own peace of mind, never mind the scoreline. Because the scoreline is not looking good for him. It's an 83 clearance from Barry Hawkins, who ploughs on towards a place in the semi-finals, leading in Bolton 3-0. So we have one more frame before the mid-session interval. Barry Hawkins in control at the moment, 3-0.
Thank
Milkins
you.
surely needs to win this frame
Frame 4.
to go to the
Rob
interval
Milkins,
feeling
break.
a bit happier, because, as I say, he's been going through agonies in that chair. Watching that last frame slip by with the 83 clearance from Barry Hawkins. He was in that chair before the cue ball had stopped rolling.
Oh, that's a very risky shot, and I'm afraid it's come unstuck there. You know, the first rule of those shots is to play thin off a ball. Don't push it into a potable position.
One.
See, you just caught too much of the red. The cue ball's fine. It's going into a safe area, but the red's
6.
no good to him. He had a really good win earlier today against Mark Williams. Not a player you can beat without playing somewhere near your best.
7.
But he's not in that form right now.
Whereas Hawkins, you can see, growing in confidence, sensing a big chance to get this one pretty comprehensively this evening.
$30. $80.
Earlier on, we saw the pot success in the 70s for both. It's gone up for Milkins slightly, only slightly, but Hawkins now at 90%, which is where you would expect a player to be at this stage of a tournament.
But you know, he may actually be really
90.
lucky here if he can pop that up into the yellow pocket. There's no way it was that what he played. I mean, once he played the shot, he kind of erratically sort of swiped at it a couple of times. Like he's swatting a fly or something. Anyway, if this goes up into the yellow pocket, it doesn't matter about the previous shot. Maybe he feels it doesn't go. He might be playing in the middle, or certainly it wouldn't have been his first choice of shot. It's a very good shot, though. This is where he is so good, Hawkins. Yes, he made a hash of the previous shot. Just shrugged it off and kept going.
25.
Prize money is it's very good for this champion of champions. 17,500 at this stage, having won a match already today, and the winner of this match has a minimum of 30,000 for being in the semi-finals. And it goes 60 for the run-up and 150,000 the winner. It's a big event on the calendar. Want to be there at the weekend if possible.
Yeah, I'm sure Barry's been watching it the last few years, wishing he was in it. He's not played in it for 5 years. And he's only ever won, before today, one match in it.
$38.
I think the break is coming to an abrupt end now. I mean, he might have a go at the blue, but does he really need to take a risk? Present Milkins with something? I think I'd keep him on that top cushion for a while, in the almost in the deep rough up there. That's what he's going to do. Make him earn anything to get back into the frame in the match.
Yeah, because he knows that Milkins is not feeling good. He needs a kind of easy starter, and Hawkins is not going to give him that if he can help it. Green safe-ish as well with the lead he's got. Bit of security. Well, I think he's going from bad to worse for the Milkman, I'm afraid. Needs the interval to get his head together, but he could well be 4-0 down when they return.
One.
These elite events, these one-table events, you know, they're pretty exposing if you're struggling. There's no sort of other tables going on as you get in some of the ranking events, where audience attention is divided. Everyone's watching you and reminded of what a tough game this can be. Because a few hours ago, he was playing well.
Seems to me that the second match in the day can affect players. Obviously, Mark Allen yesterday played ever so well, I thought. Against Ali Carter, he had a run on the ball, we know that, but that's not why he won so comfortably. He played superbly. Carter was on the end of a close match against, of all people, Mark Selby, who's so hard to beat. Didn't have a huge gap between matches. There is kind of similar in that Barry Hawkins was very quick to dispatch the world champion, Snooker. So a nice break and he comes in. hasn't played great, but he's certainly pretty efficient right now.
Yeah, he's just picking up the pieces, isn't he, that he's been offered. And he's been offered plenty as it's gone on. It started in frame one. Milkins looked set to win it. Hawkins got the 2 snookers he needed, stole it.
20.
Clearly affected Milkins. Did have that chance in frame 3, missed the black on 45. Hawkins cleared, and in this frame, well, he's made so many errors. And again, Hawkins has taken advantage, and 2 snookers needed here. This red to make sure. And it will be, for
26.
Hawkins today, 8 frames played, 8 frames won.
27.
Just underlining what a terrific season he's having. Remember, he's 4th on the one-year ranking list. Coming into the Champion of Champions, having won a tournament, gone deep in a few others as well. And he's justifying that status in this match.
33.
So Milkins, I'm sure, glad of the break, the chance to have the 15 minutes just to get himself together, but he'll be in big trouble when the players return. As I say, it started in frame 1, it's got no better since then, and Barry Hawkins is 2 away from the semis, leading 4-0.
There's a tendency in a best of 11 frame match to think the first frame is just a prelim. I think in this one it might well be decisive the way things are going.
Barry Hawkins to break.
But what I will say is that Rob Milkins can rattle off 2 or 3 frames quickly if he can find some inspiration, not without hope. It's a matter of hope, but I think it does exist.
Yes, I can understand the boys in the studio saying that they feel there's no way back for Rob. Of course there is, but I understand what they're saying just because of his body language. Those last 2 or 3 frames, it's not been good at all. Of course, the other thing about it, he's playing against a guy who, A, is not going to take anything lightly, take his foot off the gas, and B, he doesn't worry about seeing the winning line. Business as usual. Quite a day for him, isn't it? 8-0 so far.
Hawkins knows from personal experience both sides of the coin as he plays a really good safety. That a 4-0 lead in a best of 11 is not any guarantee. In the recent international championship, he was 5-1 down to Tepcharo Nu, won 6-5. And years ago in the UK championship, he was 5-0 up against Nigel Bond, lost 6-5. So things can turn around occasionally.
1.
Yeah, it's rare that a best of 11 is almost, it feels so far anyway, that being dictated almost by one shot. That's not true, of course. There's an awful lot more than that, but that miss on the second snooker in frame 1 going round the back of the colour and bulk. Didn't see that one.
Barry Hawkins 1.
And because he hit the blue so badly, he collided with the brown, and that's why the cue ball stayed in bulk, luckily for Hawkins.
Oh, a thunderbolt.
1.
Click, click, thud. Music to the ears of any snooker player.
From distance, he's been terrific today. From middle distance, he's been dynamite. But not on that occasion. Again, what damage has he done?
4.
He's just shaking his head. He's not happy with it. To leave. One of those shots, it's blind, it's difficult. You've got to pick your spot and trust this. Shot. Oh, wow. Oh, my apologies. Well, if ever there was a... I'd say that one was. That was beautifully struck. Just a few millimetres shy of pace.
One.
I just thought it was going to reach this bed of this table the last day and a half. In Grease lightning.
Three.
This is one of these awkward ones to reach, actually. Yeah, they did well. Ooh.
Four.
Smile isn't because he's amused by what he sees.
Yeah, even though he potted the red, he caught it slightly too thick. That's why the cue ball didn't make the necessary journey.
Yeah, it did well to reach the shot in itself, but it was on the stretch, wasn't he? Just couldn't deliver 100% through the impact. going to play this, I think, with a lot of pace and almost try and arc the cue ball in between pink and those two reds up behind brown. Yeah, all in all, a good effort that, good shot. It's one of those reds, if you're right behind it, you'd fancy getting it, but that distance, I can understand why he's playing the red down the cushion, parking the cue ball in bulk.
Now, sooner or later, if Milkins is to have any aspirations, he has to start scoring. He made a 45 break in the third frame, which concluded when he badly missed a black off its spot. Has to get going.
One.
Couldn't do anything with the cue ball there,
Yellow.
so he will have to wait. But if he plays a good snooker here, he might not be waiting a great amount of time. No.
Of Milkins. One. One.
There are lots of cliches in snooker, and the annoying thing about them is that a lot of them are true. One of which is that intervals change matches. I'm just wondering whether that's going to be the case here.
Could you please put the rubbers down? Thank you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like a game of two halves, so it's another one, isn't it? But was every best of 11's a game of two halves, but he's got some early encouragement here. A couple of misses from Barry.
7.
It's one of those situations where I often say
12.
the player in Rob's position, go and see if you can have fun for a couple of frames. Not so much throw your arm at everything, but just see if you can relax and try and
13.
enjoy playing snooker for, say, just a couple of frames. See where it takes you.
Eighteen. Ninety.
Oh, just about scrambled in.
24.
Yeah, 16 and 4 blues
25.
will be 40 in front. So you're going to need one of the reds by the black. That's okay.
30.
10 4 blues, of course, you got the pink setting that is on offer. Staying for
31.
blue, so he now is going to need one of the two reds.
$36. $37.
Might just be eyeing up playing top side of this red. Maybe pot it and bring the reds into the open. Yeah, that's what he's trying. Trying to leave straight, just off straight on the high side. Can into the open with the pink waiting.
$40. Fort Milkins, 43.
This is not a straightforward table, but that could still be a very costly miss.
One.
Yeah, Rob was in no mood for. He could have gone loose red pink for 41 in front with the two reds tight. He was no mood for that. He wanted to win the frame in
8.
one hit. Now Barry, no problem with the red, no problem with the pink.
Nine.
Of course, 26 in front gives him some latitude to be able to play black.
$80. For Hawkins, 80.
The green was always Milkins' safety net when it came to a clearance from Hawkins. Milkins 17 in front, so he needs green and brown. Tied frame this, and one he simply has to win. It's imperative.
it's awkward bridging, but he'll certainly be taking the pot on. It's a natural back the brown.
In many respects, I think this is similar to last night's match. Yes, Barry Hawkins has been by far the superior player, as was Mark Allen last night, but he's also having a few rubs here and there. Nothing fortunate about that one. It was well executed, well conceived.
Now the easiest hit here is 3 cushions. Going the short way like that, where his cue is very difficult to hit it. Yes, it's side cushion, side cushion. Such a difficult hit, that. And points are of the essence because
but Milkins 4.
he obviously now pretty much, well, doesn't have to hit it, but just because of the scoreboard, I think 3 cushions would have been the play. It's the easier hit that way, more natural shot. So difficult to judge that kind of shot.
Well, no miss. Robert Milkins 4.
It's a funny rule, that, isn't it? It changed a number of years ago where you used to not be able to have a miss called now that the threshold has been met, i.e. 25 the difference. I'm actually not quite sure where I stand on that rule. Anyway, it's the correct call by Desislava.
Yeah, I think on balance I agree with the change to what it is now.
Yeah, so be no miss call this time. He's got to hit it somewhere in between the first 2. Good hit, but it should be first frame on the board for Robert Milkins.
Three. Short Milkins 3.
2 snookers needed.
End of frame.
But on this occasion, Barry Hawkins says enough is enough. His unblemished record today has been punctuated. Rob Milkins back to only 4-1 behind. Can he come all the way back? He has come back to win a match against Barry Hawkins in the past, not from a situation as precarious as this. The last time he beat Hawkins, in fact, it was in the last 32 of the German Masters in 2019. He was 4-3 down and won 5-4. This, a whole different kettle of fish, mind you.
It's a fabulous pot. I mean, considering that it was not easy to get on the black at all. Yeah, an easy push up and down safety shot.
Eight. Nine.
It's been such a good season so far for Hawkins. One of the reasons, his scoring power. We're still not at halfway in the campaign.
14.
He's had one match where he made 3 centuries and 5 others, including this afternoon, where he made 2. That's world class.
Glancing cannon off the thick part of the pack through the gap. And I went with pace. That was a wee bit of a surprise because it was always going to be a glancing blow that way.
21. Hawkins,
It's
21.
not like him to make that sort of safety mistake.
One. Six. Rob Milkins, 6.
I wonder if Rob might be tempted to be a bit more adventurous. Alright, he may have a possible plant, but I was thinking more cue ball on the left wing of the table off this. Get some reds in the open. Yeah, that's what he's played. Good shot. Now needs a big bounce for yellow. Not great. That's a good sign, actually, that he's tucking in, because
Milkins, 1.
it tells us that he still thinks that he can tough this out and get the job done. Yes, it's a mammoth task. Of course it is. But if he'd given up in his heart of hearts, he would have taken the yellow on.
Hawkins came off 2 cushions there, attempting a thinner contact to take the cue ball back into bulk. That's one thing you notice watching Milkins over the course of a number of years. When he's stretching, that's when he's really vulnerable for me.
Now then, this is a chance to make a match of this. If Rob Milkins can put together a decent number, to get to 4-2, all of a sudden we've got a match on.
One. Seven. Eight.
Yeah, it's irritating when you land that straight in the blue. You can do nothing with the cue ball.
$30.
What I was saying before, when he stretches, he can miss anything.
Milkins, 30. 1.
Much like the weather, it never rains, but it pours. 4-1 down, things aren't going well, and then your opponent does that.
Barry Hawkins 1.
But Hawkins off the boil.
He's not in any trouble at all. I mean, the red on the left, I thought he could easily have played off that cue ball onto this end cushion. Are we having a scan just to see if there's a possibility of a double or indeed a treble? Almost a Mark Selby shot. Treble on that famous maximum. Wouldn't think so. Let's just having a look to see if it is a possibility.
Oh. Robert Milkins 5.
Yeah, in the end, he sort of didn't do anything. Obviously, it was an outside chance attempt at a double. Rob itching to play the red in the far right corner. Yeah, doesn't like it for obvious reasons. He's bound to leave one. It's a got to go shot if he plays it. Trouble is at the moment and most of the evening, not an awful lot has had to go and look about it. Sorry to say. Here we go then.
Don't silent, please.
Ken Doherty made the point in the interval. How often have we seen Milkins play shots where he walks away from the table in disgust as the balls are still rolling?
1. 6. 7.
Just exuding disgust.
He just got himself in a kerfuffle there from the shot from
11.
blue to that red in bulk. So many options in front of him there, and he's ended up, well, barring something extraordinary, it's end of break again. Yeah, this time he did try the Mark Selby treble.
Barry Hawkins 11.
So bits and pieces all the way in this frame.
One.
Yeah, see now he might play, yeah, he's going to play the cannon red to the reds with black waiting.
6.
Got to get the correct contact. Any contact on that trio around the pink spot there.
7.
That's a poor shot. That is a poor shot, to be honest. I don't even think he's seen the shot. I mean, it was a nice target. The black's waiting. There was value.
Well, this time he walks away from the table in disgust, even though he pots the blue. Totally misjudged cue ball.
Milkins 12.
That little flick in the brown has left the red on.
Hawkins always muster with that kind of shot, but look where the cue ball's finished. One of those frames, Alan, where the balls just will not cooperate.
Yeah, he's dreaming up a little sequence of shots here. Red along the cushion. It's quite a big pocket with the black. There that black is. He's playing for it. Yeah, just a bit straight.
Barry Hawkins 4.
Yeah, just the fact he tried to obviously power the cue ball back into open play by way of in off the black. Almost potted it twice. Yeah, how did that not go in?
One.
As so many frames in professional snooker seem to be, it's all about the last
7.
red.
Milkins 7.
Yeah, they just won't accept at that pace. I know he missed it by the proverbial, but what's worse than that, he's left a pretty easy, well, pot to Deville just about controlling the cue ball. And this time, he's perfect.
Four behind on arrival on the colours, so he
3.
needs down to the pink.
Five. Eight. Twelve. Seven.
Just enough of a gap between cue ball and object ball to make this perhaps missable. Right into the heart of the pocket, and with that, breathing space restored. Rob Milkins 1 frame away from defeat. Barry Hawkins leads 5-1. He's come from nowhere into
Frame
the top
7,
16.
Barry Hawkins to break.
For a while this season, it looked as though Chris Wakelin might miss out as the shootout champion. But then those 3 consecutive victories for Judd Trump really did him a favour. I'm glad it did, because Chris deserves to be here. And at his best, he can be devastating.
One.
He was entirely dominant this afternoon against the world champion. Tonight, not so. I think it would be unfair to call him unconvincing, but certainly the performance has been down a notch or two.
Flago. One.
Good table by Barry.
1.
Yeah, just a shame about the plant as it thunders in. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to say in between
Rob Milkins,
this frame
1.
and the last, he was kind of slumped in his chair, giving off vibes that my race is run, folks. I'm not saying it totally is, but that was the vibe I was getting, must confess. And I hate saying it about any top snooker player. He looks pretty forlorn there in the chair.
Hawkins, though, continues to miss. His pot success rate for the match now dipping below 90%. In total contrast to this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the case at the moment with Robbie. Looks like his race is well and truly run.
One.
Dominic Dale, twice a world ranking event winner, knows an awful lot
7.
about this game. He is convinced that Barry Hawkins is the best player in the game with the rest. Now, I don't agree with that, but he's certainly one of the best, and he's
8.
shown that again today. On many occasions, knocked in really good balls. You see, in this match, he's knocked in 14 out of 15.
Yeah, he's brilliant with it, as he is at most disciplines in
50.
snooker. Hasn't been this evening.
Yeah, missed one pot all day with the rest out of 20 attempts.
Yeah, but what he is also, Barry, he's as technically correct almost as any other player in the game.
$21.
Everything about him, the stance, the balance, weight distribution, head position, his left elbow is perpendicular on the shot. Everything, all those things that you would try to teach a junior player, he's got. That elbow pointing at the sky. It goes wrong again, though. It's been the story, isn't it, strangely?
Barry Hawkins, 21.
Well, we lavish praise on players most of the time, so I think we are duty bound to also say it as it is. And I think tonight's match has been, for both of these two, very disappointing.
knew nothing about this red going through the gap. So that's twice in a couple of, well, a few shots he's been quite fortunate. Good pot, the initial one, to be fair.
$11. 12.
Of course, comebacks for Rob Milkins are nothing new. That one back at the Crucible against Joe Perry was one of the best comebacks of all time in this game.
20.
Yes, it's a long way back, but he just got to, just play for the sake of playing. Just try as you can. Just try and get your head in a decent place. And stay in the present for at least a few shots. Just never know, because these guys are capable of extraordinary things in snooker tables. If something clicks, as Phil said earlier, more than capable of reeling off 2 or 3 frames in jig time.
Yeah, that's the big thing going for Milkins here, if there is such a thing as being optimistic. He can win frames rapidly. If he was a grinder, I wouldn't give him any chance whatsoever. But he can, as they say, catch a gear.
Yeah, it's the way you've got to roll as a snooker player. Never give in, ever. It might only happen once in your career, winning from the position he finds himself, 5-1 behind. But tonight might be the night, but it won't be if you chuck it. I'm not saying he has, far from it. But you've got to stay in there. You've got to hang in there as long as you can.
$42. $43.
4 words. Make him earn it.
$49. 50.
Already his highest break of the match, and now this is frame
57.
ball.
$58. $64. 65. $72. 74. $77. $81. Stuart Milkins, 81 and the frame.
Much better from Robert Milkins. Will the Robert revival continue? We'll find out after the break.
Thank you. Frame 8. Robert Milkins to break.
Off we go with frame 8. Robert Milkins trying to stay alive. Barry Hawkins trying to put a lid on this. He finished off the match against Luca Brissell this afternoon superbly with a break of 108, did Hawkins. He would love something similar here.
Yeah, no sport and snooker especially doesn't quite work this way, but he actually should be in front at the moment, all things being equal. First frame he definitely should have won, and the last frame he certainly could have, no problem. See, I know it doesn't work that way, it swings and roundabouts and all that, this game, you know, the way matches evolve, but he's still in this. You just got to keep believing. It's very, very difficult. It's incredibly difficult to keep the belief. It's part of your job. Barry has got eyes on this plant here, the plant at the pink spot. It must be a good thing. Yes, it's an absolute certainty. Because he can hang the pace off it for blue or baulk colour if he wishes. Oh, he got the wrong cannon, but he's on the black.
One.
And he knew nothing of it.
When it comes to dissecting a match, quite often we talk about the odd fluke or a very lucky snooker. But I think at this level, if you have fortune with your position and you're a scorer like Hawkins, that is gold dust.
$50. $16.
Yeah, flukes at this level feel big. Obviously it was a fluke positional shot. Flukes feel big at this level because of the class of the player in question. Some flukes you feel like they're worth 80 or 90. This one could be, it's a long way from that just yet.
23.
You know, if you're no good and you can't play, then flukes don't mean anything.
$28. $29.
I know David Hendon made the point earlier, but I'll reiterate. Last season, Barry Hawkins made 23 centuries in professional competition. Decent. This season already he's made 21. His scoring is really sharp. It was at the European Masters and it's continued. His triumph in that event has given him that extra layer of confidence.
37.
Yeah, the plan's in place. It's screw off the pack and just get the cue ball spitting back towards him. 12 or 18 inches. It's a wee bit too much. Got one certainly to left middle.
44.
Seems quite happy. So this, if it goes to plan, would be the last obstacle, you would think. Watch how he finishes the shot, Barry Hawkins. I think he's the best there is by a distance. Watch how he stays down with this. See that? All the way. Every single shot.
45.
And it's non-negotiable. It's brilliant the way he does it. Regardless if he's playing well, playing poorly. It's the way he plays. Always. Watch it again here. See that? Brilliant.
$47.